What's going on, fellow weekend hunters? It's Shawn. I am here joined by Mr. Darryell Zittle.
How you doing?
He is competitive archer, hunter, food plot expert, you name it.
Well, let's not say expert. Let's not say. I mean, I could put some stuff in the ground and make it work.
Hey, whatever's going on. So, you've done a lot. You work with my father-in-law. We played a little softball together and really got to hit it off with hunting. So let's start off with kind of the big elephant in the room.
Right.
This is your handiwork. These are awesome. Why don't you tell us a little bit about this and what you do?
So about 7-8 years ago, I started doing a little bit of taxidermy, European stuff. Getting mounts done for your shoulders. I mean, you got a nice little mount over there. I mean, a mount like that's going to cost you $700, $800. The average guy, they can't afford that. You know, and it kind of goes with my slogan for the business. You know, we build custom mounts for the average sportsman.
Yeah.
A pedestal mount like this, man, that's my highest dollar piece to put stuff on. I mean, that box will cost you like $85.
Wow.
You know, and you put a head on it. You got about, you got another $30 or $40 with the time into it. That mount finished up right there for me to hand it back to you after you bring me the deer is like $150.
Wow.
It sits on your table. I've got a couple back here. This is a two-headed mount, sits on your wall. A lot of guys, if you kill 2 nice bucks in a year, this is a really cool way to display it. You can set it up and do a couple other things. I've got a lot of different other options.
Okay.
These are kits. I'm a distributor for mountain mics that do the retro kits, and we've got different colors. We got a camo, a rustic flag, a snow camo. There's one out there for the girls that like a pink camo. We've got that, and we have an actual all-natural white.
Wow.
To do that. And the cool part about like the white ones, I can paint those. I can do different colors on them. I've got a friend of mine. You could take them and have them hydro dipped and do a bunch of different stuff.
Okay.
So I mean, there's a lot of different options for it. But like I said, I build these out of my garage. I turned my garage half of my garage into a wood shop, and that's kind of where I started this. And I was doing it for a friend who sent a friend. It just started to build, and everybody's like, hey, man, you should just start doing this. And again, like I said, we build mounts for the average guy.
No, that's cool. I mean, yeah, I don't even remember how much. I want to say it was 500 plus.
Absolutely.
On that one. So
absolutely. And, and I've got, my wife gets on to me all the time. I've got 22 deer heads hanging in my living room. I have one shoulder mount out of those 22 deer heads. The rest of them, these come out of my living room.
Gotcha.
Okay. So I mean, it's something that everybody can do. It's affordable. Some people don't like the bone heads hanging around, so this gives them another option to have color.
Yeah.
It's not just that dead bone hanging around.
I think it's cool. And we were talking a little bit earlier about mine, and I did mine the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, and this is the color you get. A lot of guys, will peroxide those out, and they'll come out white because it's fairly clean. But you leave them outside for too long, and this happens. I mean, the squirrels get to them, and you can rebuild it, like we were talking about. But I mean, it's going to take a lot of time to restructure that and get it back to what it looked like. And that's what's pretty cool about like what I do here. You bring me a head, and as long as I'm not busy, because when this comes around, it's hunting season.
Yeah.
Which is my busy time of the year. But but I'm a hunter.
Yeah.
So it makes a difference.
Sure, absolutely.
It's pretty cool stuff. And like I said, we got a Facebook page. It's B&D Custom Mounts, and you can get on there and check it out. And we got all our pictures on there. Everything that we do, we try to take a picture of.
Awesome.
So there's a lot of different options.
And we're excited. We're thankful. Darryell is coming on as a sponsor for us, so you're going to be seeing his stuff a lot on the channel. He's going to be hunting a little bit, shooting us some video for us when he gets to go out. Talk about that. Tell us about some of your food plot work and everything you do to prepare.
I'm like you guys. I'm the weekend hunter. I'm the average guy. I work my butt off through the year, and I'm ready for that September 15th. And this summer we've worked hard. We've put in some food plots. I don't have big equipment. I've got some private land that I get access to where I'm able to make a plot. I go out. I mean, I rent a tiller. I do it the old-fashioned way, and I'll share some pictures of that later on.
Yeah.
And I just go out and put the time in, and it doesn't cost a lot of money. I mean, I've got 2 fairly good-sized plots out there, and just a little bit of time. Obviously, you got to wait on the weather, make sure everything's right. I was sweating it this year because we were so dry.
Yes.
But my plots are doing great this year. I've got a lot of deer activity in them, and the growth is coming along. But like I said, I'm just a weekend guy. I mean, I go to work every day, 40 hours a week plus, to wait for September 15th.
Yeah.
I'm a bow hunter true and true. I get a lot of grief. I mean, I'll show up opening day of rifle season with my orange hat and vest on and a bow in my hand. That's just what I do. That's what I do.
Yeah.
And I've been shooting a bow since I was 10 years old.
That's awesome.
And, you mentioned earlier that I do a lot of competitive archery. We do a lot of long distance stuff, 3D archery, things like that. I'm a president of a local club here in Springfield.
Okay.
It's called Crossroads Archery. That club's been there for 52 years.
Wow.
And it's just an amazing thing. You get to go out. It's not always about shooting targets and shooting foam on arrows. It's about being out there with your buddies, just like hunting. I don't have a problem hunting by myself. I hunt a lot by myself. But I would so much rather have a guy, a couple hundred yards from me, where we can sit in the stand. And don't take this the wrong way because everybody does it. You're going to send him a message. You're going to text on the phone. Have you seen anything?
Yep.
How's it going? And things like that.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about. It's about building them memories. You can kill a deer. Anybody can go out and kill a deer if they put the time into it.
Sure.
So, I mean, I'm just like you guys.
Yeah. No, and you said it. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Is your average hunter works 40 hours a week.
Absolutely.
Doesn't have time for it. And you talked about working your food plot. Now, that's, what did you say earlier, how much it was just to rent just that hand till?
I mean, I got a big tiller. It was like $109 for the weekend.
$109.
$109, and we put lime in, we put fertilizer down to help with the pH balance in the ground. But we buy bagged of seed just like anybody can. You go to Bass Pro, order it online. This year we're using, the last couple of years actually, we're using a couple of no plow seed mixes. From Whitetail Institute. I personally, from what I've used in the years, I think it's some of the best product out there. We put it in the ground on a Thursday. It didn't rain Friday. Saturday we got a little rain. Sunday evening we went back out and we had 2 inches of seed coming up.
Wow.
I mean, it's a great product.
That's
and
awesome.
It's just a little bit of time. That bag of seed that was going to produce food for my deer at the end of the season and keep them in that location, it's $35. So on one decent sized plot, and it don't have to be a big plot. I mean, a lot of these plots, guys call them kill plots.
Yeah.
They're close to a tree stand, and that's what they are. You want to bring the deer into a 30 by 40 yard piece of land, and that's where they want to stand, and that's why they call it a kill plot.
Sure.
So by the time I till it, put my fertilizer down and the seed mix, I got $160 put in, but now I got a lot of time invested in that. So yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah, but you don't just exclusively hunt your plots, do you? You've talked about some of your big deer that you've killed in public.
Oh, we hunt a lot of public land, and I think in the last 10 years, public land has got a lot bigger, just because a lot of the shows out there, those public land hunter shows.
Yeah.
But when growing up, we always hunted government land. We had farms attached to private land. We had a lot of access. Today, you can't get that.
Right.
You can't knock on a door anymore and say, "Hey, I'd like to hunt," because it's become a business.
Yeah.
And that's really, really, really bad for the industry.
Sure.
But more and more people are growing good deer. They're being more selective on what they're shooting. So, this guy back here behind me, I mean, these guys are off the public land. The one I shot last year during October, that was a Halloween buck. It was great. That's a private land deer, but I've got just as many probably public land deer kills as I do.
Yeah.
Any of them.
And that's exciting, and you're absolutely right. You got all the shows, and so there's all these new techniques, and I think you're seeing more bigger deer killed out of public land because, like saddle hunting, for instance. Mm-hmm. Now that was just introduced to me within the last couple of years,
right?
But I don't know how long that's been around necessarily.
Right, and I love your first podcast. It was awesome. You said the number one thing to do is get out of bed. And that's a big key right there, and with video and TV and all the shows that are on now, all these big deer are being killed. Man, there's been big deer killed for a long time. Not in the numbers that there is today, probably.
Yeah.
Because, like when I was a kid and started hunting, there was no doe tags. You didn't get doe tags. You had to be drawn for it.
Oh, okay.
So you only bought a buck tag. So, that put a lot of pressure on the deer. And like I said, today, people are aging deer. They're just doing more things right. Food plots are a big deal. More people are doing farming that help the deer population and to give them more food. So, it's going to continue to get better.
Sure. Absolutely. So I got to ask you this, and this question just popped into my mind. Going into the season, what's your strategy you normally take? So in Missouri, you're allowed 3 deer, a doe anytime, and then 2 antlered deer, one before rifle season, and then after or during rifle season and afterwards, you can get another antlered deer. So what's your approach to when you go hunt?
See, I'm odd like that. So I like to hunt deer, but again, I'm the type of guy that I'll sit in my tree stand and I'll watch deer. I'll shoot pictures. I'll take video. Because it's hot. It's early season. Our season is really, really at the right time of year to where you can get a good view on what the deer are going to be doing and how they're going to react through the year. Are you asking me if I'm going to shoot a buck on day 2? If the right opportunity comes along,
sure. I'm
sure I would. But I'll wait till the first part of October, probably before I even draw back on a deer, unless and I don't want to sound like I'm a trophy hunter because I'm not. I killed 5 deer last year. Wow. 1 buck, obviously. So I killed 4 does on top of that last year. But I didn't kill my first deer until about the 2nd week of October.
Okay.
Just because of the time frame, I love hunting evenings. For me, I think the evenings are the best. Now, with that being said, I did kill my buck this past season, in the morning. But, it's just one of those things. And there's nothing better than sitting in a tree stand. I get up early. I want to be in my stand at least 45 minutes before the sun comes up.
Sure.
It's always been that way for me. There's nothing better than sitting in a stand, getting comfortable, everything perfect around you, and just listen to God's creation come alive.
Yeah.
Because that is the coolest thing in the world. But there's a peace to it that you can't get anywhere else. But like I said, the biggest thing, you said get out of bed. That's your number 1 tip.
Yeah.
And that's true. Tip number 2, I'm going to throw this in there on your tips.
Bring it.
Tip number 2, don't pass nothing on day 1 that you wouldn't pass on the last day.
That's a very good tip.
That's huge.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't shoot that buck on day 1, don't shoot him on
or
the
even
last day.
Even a doe.
Even a big doe.
And I've fallen into that trap. I'm guilty of that.
I've done it before.
I've
done it before, and I get the pleasure to hunt with a lot of guys that have more in the tree time, more hunting time behind them. A lot of experienced guys since I've grown up and hunted around. And when I killed my first deer, I thought I knew everything. I thought I knew everything. And I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't. So I've learned a lot over the years. And I've got a good friend of mine, and that's his philosophy. Don't pass something on the first day that you wouldn't pass on the last.
That's good, because I know I'm guilty of that. It's like, I just want that buck. But then by the end of the season, if I haven't seen really anything or had a good opportunity, I was like, I just need meat in the freezer. I'll just take a doe. Well, if you want meat in the freezer,
you can do that on day 1.
Yeah.
You can do that on day 1.
I think my only hold-up hesitation is sometimes if I'm deep in on public somewhere, it's like I got to get her out fast.
Right, and like I said, for us, early season is really tough. Because when we're going out, our season starts in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And it's still 90 degrees outside. And I know there's a lot of places, like Georgia, Kentucky, Tennessee, all those guys start early seasons too, and it is nasty hot.
Yeah.
But those guys are more acclimated to it
Sure.
and better equipped for it, and like you said, when we go to public land, and a lot of times early season, that's where we're at. That's where we start our season.
Yeah.
Is the public land, because I don't want to mess up my private land
Exactly.
spot. Is my private land spot better than where I'm hunting on public land? Probably not. I get just as many deer pictures. We run a lot of cameras. So I mean, we've got just as good a chance on public land as we do on private.
Yeah, but it's the pressure.
It is the pressure.
And
that's another good thing about bow hunting.
Yeah.
We get the first opportunity to go in there and mess it up for everybody else. I mean, you can either win from it or you can lose from it.
Yeah.
But you got to put the time in. You got to put the time in. And you don't have to go 5 miles in.
Mm-mm.
You don't have to go 5 miles.
You just got to go farther than the other guy.
Exactly. So that makes all the difference in the world. But again, like you said on the first one, man, you got to get out of bed. You got to put a little effort into it and put some time in.
Yeah. And I think that's bow hunting in a nutshell.
100%.
Is because, I mean, I don't want to climb that tree. I mean, it's effort to climb a tree.
Absolutely.
It's not an easy thing.
Absolutely.
And then if you're trying to get in there and not make a whole bunch of noise and racket, I mean, it's nice if you can walk to a redneck blind and have a 150-yard area. But no, you're on top of the deer. It's movement. It's the slow turns to check stuff out, or what was that, or scent control is a huge one. I mean,
very much so.
It is so much more of a challenge than just your typical.
And and if you don't put the time in, you don't know the deer trails. You don't know where they're passing. You don't know what you're walking through to get to where you want to go.
Yeah.
And for me, I mean, saddle hunting has become really big here recently.
Yeah.
You participate in that. I'm not a saddle hunter guy. I carry climbers around. Strap-on stands with ladder sticks. For me, I've had some bad experience with them.
Okay.
I've got a friend of mine, a really good friend of mine. He had one break away from me, broke his hip. Bad experience, and I'm a bigger guy. So when I say I'm putting time in on the public land, I'm talking. I'm spending the off season down there doing as much scouting as I can, and I'm literally packing the stand. So around here on Mark Twain, you can't put stands up until September 1st, which that makes it really tough for guys who are trying to pre-plan a season.
Yeah.
So this next weekend we're hitting Mark Twain hard.
Sure.
Because this is our time to get started. But we're talking, I'm packing ladder stands in, so I'm putting stands up. I'm not going to tell you where they're at.
Yeah.
But so we pack stands in.
Yeah.
And that's even more work, because then we're taking them down. And it ain't like a piece of private land that I've got. I've got a small piece of private land that I hunt on. I've got 8 stands standing there. I'm playing the wind,
Exactly.
and it's all set up. You can't do that on public land. It's a flip a coin, and you're going to make a decision.
Yeah.
So that makes it a lot tougher.
It does, and yeah, I mean it goes back to the whole technique, the evolution of deer hunting that we've seen over the past 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
In the shows and the techniques that's become more publicly available.
Absolutely.
And I think it's seen an increase in deer hunting too.
Yeah, absolutely. And then a few years ago, they released the crossbows.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are going to crossbows. Just because they're easy. I mean, they're like a rifle. Man, once you sight them in, it's there.
Yeah.
And you don't have to put the effort and work into it. I don't have nothing against crossbows. If that's what you want to use, do it.
Yeah. Like my dad uses one because he had elbow surgery.
Right, exactly.
And so he has a bow. He has a compound bow, but for him to consistently shoot and sight in.
Again, I don't have nothing against them. I know guys that are just like me that can shoot every day and do everything, and they prefer a crossbow.
Yeah.
If that's what you want to do it. But again, if you're a crossbow hunter, if you're a compound hunter, it don't matter. You still got to put the time in. And, like I said, rule number 1, get out of bed, put the time in, get the effort. And that doesn't just mean during season. I mean, that's in the off season too. Yeah. A lot of public land hunters, there's the guys out there, they're piggybacks. Mm-hmm. They're going to find where other people have been in and out of, and, they're going to piggyback off of them.
Yeah.
And that makes it tough, for everybody. It's public land, and don't intrude on this guy's spot,
Yeah.
But again, it's public land, and that's the way it's going to be.
Anything's fair game.
You know what? If I wasn't there and you go in there and you find my stand and you sit in it and you kill a big deer, you know what? I should have been there before you was. So, I mean.
Didn't get up.
I didn't get out of bed.
Yeah.
I didn't get out of bed. So.
Well, lastly, talk to us about Bow Freaks.
Hey, Bow Freaks is a great local shop. They're based out of, their address is Mount Vernon, Missouri. They're actually just outside of Chesapeake.
Okay.
It's about 28 minutes west of Springfield. And a great group of guys down there. Shannon Andrews is the owner of that shop down there. I've had the privilege of being with Shannon now for a couple of years as a shop shooter. I go down a couple times a week. I help out in the shop. Again, I shoot competitive archery. So as a competitive archer, most companies want you to be established with a shop. Before that, I was with Mark and Nathan over at Archery Quest.
Okay.
That establishment was there for 25 years. Got a great relationship with those guys. Like I said, I pretty much grew up with them. And, everybody kind of has their niche about their bow shops. All these local shops that we have around our area, they're considered pro shops. The industry is kind of going away from pro shops because everybody's buying stuff online. Man, if you buy something online, take it to an archery shop. Let the guys who work on them all the time work on them.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. We're not going to say that we're experts, but we're in that business and we're doing that type of work for a reason. And it's just one of those things. All shops are going to dog on the other one. Well, they did this or they did this, but just take your stuff to somebody who knows what they're doing. Let them work on it. And like I said, Shannon Andrews, he's been down there. He's been down there almost 20 years, I believe it is.
Wow.
Been down there a long time.
That's awesome.
Long time. Great shop. It's just it's a small business. It's a second hobby for him. He's a full-time guy who got a job. He works from home. He's got a shop there. He's a hunter. And that's his life.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things. For me, I've always wanted to own a bow shop.
It'd be fun.
It's a great thing. Being around it all these years, I'm kind of glad I never did that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of headache. It's a lot of hassle. But so I get to do both. I get to hunt. I get to shoot competitive. I get to work at a shop. And I just get to reap all the benefits, and I don't have any of the headaches.
Yeah. At the end of the day, you can kind of,
I'm
going home.
Yeah, I got to go home and worry about making a mount for somebody.
Well, that's high quality. That's awesome stuff. So, and I appreciate it. Madison appreciates it.
Yeah, I'm too bad he's not here today. I like to pick on him a little bit.
Well, if he would take care of his yard, he'd be okay. Wouldn't be in trouble with the city. But that's a story for another time. But Darryell, man, I appreciate it. We're gonna have to do this again. We got more to talk about as the season goes on. Maybe we'll do a recap or something.
Oh, we need to do several recaps.
Yeah,
several recaps.
And then we'll have. When does competition season start?
Right now we just finished up our competition season this past weekend. So we don't start again until about January.
Okay.
So again, it's hunting season.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to look forward to.
That's exciting. So you're shooting all year long.
I shoot all year long.
All year long.
I shoot all year long. We shoot long distance stuff. We shoot 3D targets every day. It's an ongoing process, and makes you a better shooter.
Yeah.
Makes you a better shooter. You got to practice.
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna go the wrong way here, but there are times guys that go out on a Thursday night and they'll buy a bow and they'll set it up, and Saturday morning they're hunting.
Yeah.
That's just rough.
Yeah.
That's just rough.
Well, especially if you are a new hunter and then you get the shakes.
Oh man, you got to be ethical.
Yeah.
You got to be ethical. If you're a bow hunter, you've been doing it a while, and you say you've never missed a deer because you got excited,
you're a liar.
You are not a hunter.
Yeah.
You are not a hunter.
Yeah.
Either that or you got better luck than anybody I know.
First time I ever took a shot at a deer with my bow. It made me so sick to my stomach after I took the shot.
Yeah.
Just the nerves of everything. I need to say I had to get out of that tree fast.
Absolutely.
It was It was crazy.
Nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Yeah, nerve-wracking. I hunted for a few years.
Yeah.
A few years before I was able to kill my first deer. I hunted almost 11 years before I killed my first buck with a bow.
Man. Well, and that's like for Madison, and he could talk about it if he was here, but his first deer kill at all with a bow was this last year. Was the doe who took this last year.
Right, but you say that's his first deer, but he's been hunting.
Yeah, he's killed other deer
for
before,
a while.
But he was just like the adrenaline, the excitement of it, and the story, the recap video he told about that big pitchfork one. Yeah. Physically sick for a month.
That's the other thing about bow hunting. A lot of people don't realize who've never done it. The adrenaline rush and the excitement you get. Anybody can go out with a good quality rifle, 200, 300 yards and shoot a deer. Mm-hmm. For a bow hunter, your ideal spot is 30 yards and in. Mm-hmm. And that's, to sit there, to not make a sound, for a deer not to smell you, to work the wind, to do everything right and get that deer in as close as you possibly can. There is no better feeling. No better feeling.
Yeah, and for some people that are like, well, it just sounds like you want to kill something. Well, we also eat it. Like this isn't just kill something to kill something.
No, absolutely not.
It's a challenge. It's food. It's fun. It's adventure. It's camaraderie, like you talked about, going with somebody else. There's so much more to it than just killing something to kill something.
You know, and for me, growing up, I mean, I grew up in a small town out in the country. I mean, it's a way of life.
Yeah.
You know, and that gets said all the time and thrown around. But I mean, for me, it's a way of life. I provide a lot of food.
Yeah.
Like you said, for my family. And for others as well. You know, I do donate a lot of deer in the fall. Like I said, last year I was blessed. You know, I killed 5 deer last year. So, you know, I fill my freezer up. But if somebody needs it, I mean, I've got something there for them as well.
And I don't remember what it's called, but I know I go up to Schrock's for processing up there. And you can donate to Missouri.
It's similar to like Share the Harvest.
Share the Harvest, yeah. Exactly. They do that, and you can donate the meat. And I think it's a great program what Missouri Department of Conservation does with that.
Absolutely. It's a great thing. Matter of fact, the Salvation Army, they used to do it as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a lot of good stuff out there. You know, I mean, it's a wild game. So everybody thinks public land hunting is super, super hard, but again, if you put your time in, it's just like hunting on private land. And it's just to go out there and, like you said, the camaraderie, the building the memories. You know, if you take a kid, that's a whole nother segment right there.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, I agree 100%. Food source, the experience behind it, and like I said, there is no better feeling.
Yeah.
Not the fact that you took an animal's life,
right?
But just the experience of being out there, success. Yeah. Success to do everything you had to do correctly, and fulfill a tag. I mean, that's what we're all about.
Yeah. And you said it's a way of life, and that's what I've kind of dubbed as the motto for the channel. Is it's not just the channel name, being a weekend hunter. It is a way of life.
It is a way of life. I mean, you're just like me, like we talked earlier. You work a full-time job. It's not something that you go, I'm going to go to work today, I'm going to hunt tomorrow. You don't have that choice, you know, and it gets miscued, I think, because of the hunting shows out there. People think, well, that's all they do. You know, a lot of those guys on TV, that's what they do. Yeah. They get paid to hunt. Us,
we're not that lucky.
We're not that lucky. Yeah. We're the normal guys, and you know, we'll do whatever we can to give everybody out there a little bit of advice. Maybe they'll pick up a tip or two, and make their season better. Absolutely.
Well, I appreciate your time today, Darryell.
Absolutely. Man.
Thank you guys for watching. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And remember, it's not just the channel name, but the Weekend Hunter. It's a way of life.
Absolutely.
We'll see you next time.
Hey guys, this is Darryell with the Weekend Hunter, and coming back early in the year, we showed you a little bit of what we were doing on our food plots and working it in and just doing it the best we can. So I'm going to switch around here and show you what we have to offer here. Okay, so early in the year, this is where you saw my first patch that I was cutting in. We come back today. Our season starts next week. So excited for season to start. This is that bottom we cut in, and you guys can remember where I showed you that tree stand. So I'm just going to kind of scroll around the edge here. This was all dirt the last time you've seen it, and now we have a beautiful late season food source coming in. I'll skirt around the edge here so everybody can see what it's turned out into here. Nice and green. We got the right amount of rain this year. I mean, that plot looks tremendous. This is that lovely bottom. There's that tree stand. It's a great spot right there. There's a little creek that runs right behind me, so we're sitting right on a creek edge. Deer love to cross. Just coming out to do some last minute checking, pull a couple camera cards, See how green it is back there. Put a little bit of time and effort in. Your hard work will pay off, and that, I mean, that's just how you have to do it. You just got to get out and try. I'm gonna try to squeeze across this plot here. This place is, and you can see here, there's a ridge in front of me. This is a beautiful little spot, this little pinch point ridge. I'm gonna come across the plot here. Look at the grass growing. Look at all the food that we've got coming in. This is awesome. Beautiful. Another cool part about it is too, we have a salt mineral lake that we built a few years ago right in the middle of our plot. And boy, did they like it. All right. Blowing some leaves, cleaning some paths, really working it down in here. Food plots look amazing. All right. Well, hopefully the next time we see you guys, we will be in the stand and seeing what deer are coming through here. So until then, thanks for watching The Weekend Hunter. You guys have a good time.